Dear citizens of St. John and New Brunswick, my name is Artie Watson. I'm an independent candidate bidding for the legislative seat in the riding of Portland Simonds, and I will not be silenced. I consider it a great honor to be afforded the right to be a candidate, and I'm honored to be able to stand here before you today. A right and opportunity given to me and you by the selfless sacrifices made by others on foreign shores a few decades ago, who fought and died for the cause of freedom, a freedom we must never take for granted. I'm here today to confirm my commitment to representing the constituents of Portland Simonds and supporting the sustainable growth of the city of St. John and New Brunswick as a whole, to the best of my ability. As an elected member of the New Brunswick Legislature, I will be a strong voice for the people, working tirelessly, drafting and voting on legislation to ensure that the constituents I represent and all New Brunswickers alike are treated fairly and have every opportunity to thrive. You will have a strong voice advocating for a new deal for our municipalities and a new deal for our province. It's time Ottawa recognized our distinctiveness as the only bilingual province in Canada and the vital role New Brunswickers played in its development. An increased transfer payment is needed, and we must demand Ottawa negotiate a fair deal that reflects our contribution to the Canadian fabric. Fair taxation in all its forms will be a major priority. The current tax system is counterproductive, hindering our ability to attract new investment and development and weighing our citizens down. Our healthcare system needs an upgrade. We need better mental health care, doctors, nurses, and supportive staff with better services that will result in less wait times. Better wages for personal support workers who go beyond what is expected of them because they care for their clients. It's time to show our appreciation for their compassion and dedication. Those with chronic illnesses must be given more help with the cost of aids and medications. We need legislation that will fast-track the study and development of new medications for cancer and other life-threatening illnesses. Our education system needs to be modernized. We need more teachers in modern schools that serve fresh food from local sources and new curriculums that focus on the holistic approach to education. A young mind, body, and spirit that is fed well, does well, and will lower our costs in other areas as they grow and learn. We need more arts and technologies in the classroom, as well as to arouse and inspire young minds to go beyond their highest expectations. We need to make free post-secondary education and training access easier by eliminating the mandatory credit check that hinders so many from pursuing higher education because they have bad credit ratings. We need fair business legislation and enforcement that keeps businesses' accounts on Canadian soil and out of offshore holdings. Incentives, not large welfare handouts to corporations who post record-setting profits, but for small companies willing to set up shop in our province, for existing ones and want to expand. Those who develop renewable energy innovation and green technologies must be given the flexibility to compete against our conventional methods so that the environmental footprint created in the past can be reversed and new technologies minimal. It's time to look at the idea of a universal basic income by implementing a pilot program to study its benefits in hopes of eradicating poverty and the costs associated with it, and to offset the quickly advancing artificial intelligence and robotics industries that have and will continue to replace thousands of workers. It's time for a living wage, progressive labor laws, and fair arbitration legislation that is balanced for employers and workers, resulting in higher efficiency and productivity without the burdens of escalating costs. We need an immigration policy that focuses on attracting and keeping those with the skill sets necessary for our growth and sustainability, while also maintaining our humanitarian obligations for others at high risk. Putting mechanisms in place that make it easier for newcomers to transfer their skill sets into our workforce. I will be a strong voice advocating for more transparency and accountability for the practices and procedures by government to ensure that we don't repeat the mistakes of the past that cost us hundreds of millions of dollars. I intend to take full advantage of my role as a legislative representative, turning over every rock to advance our great democracy and all the people behind her veil, never allowing our most vulnerable to be left behind in that progress. So help me God. In closing, thank you for taking the time to listen. I plead with you not to take your freedom to choose for granted. Don't allow the men and women who sacrificed their lives, which gave us this great freedom called democracy, to have died in vain. Seize this opportunity to be heard. Choose not to be silent. Get out to vote. Thank you, and God bless you.